Good evening. I think we can all agree 2020 is a very interesting time for all of us. During the pandemic, it's very difficult for families and friends to gather to say goodbye to their loved ones. I'm happy that we're not in the current lockdown as they are in the Toronto area, because it makes it even more difficult. But I'm so happy that so many of you could come even this afternoon and this evening. And on a bright note too, we are recording this service tonight, so those other friends or relatives, even if they don't live in the area, they'll be able to watch the service tonight. At this time, we're just gonna have Connor play our first song.
Heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. My faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty, and the moonlight overthrew ya. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throat and cut your hair. From your lips she drew hallelujah, 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 maybe I've been here before, seen this room, I've walked this floor. I used to live alone before I knew ya, and I saw your flag on the marble arch. Our love is not a victory march, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love is how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. Well, it's not a cry that you hear at night, it's not someone who's singing light, it's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Music is very tough to listen to. But at times I do find it also has a lot of healing properties. My name is Tony, and I'm the funeral director and the owner here of the funeral home. I was honored to look after Sue's mom a few years ago, and after talking to James when we first met, I offered to put a little something together for you this evening instead of having the traditional minister here tonight. But I did prepare a few things. I don't think Sue would have liked a lot of prayers here said tonight, but I do have some and some poems. And then a little bit also, we're going to invite a couple of folks to come up and share some memories with us. This is something called The Afterglow by Helen Marshall. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times and laughing times and bright sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun of happy memories that I leave when life is done. As many of you know too, Sue loved her animals, and I'm told you have quite or James was telling me they have quite a shelf of cremated remains for dogs and cats. And he's not, so I thought I'd share this with you too. It's called My Best Friend. Always happy to see me, showers me with kisses. That's how I know I'm the one he misses. When I've had a bad day, he doesn't ask why. He just cuddles close in case I need a good cry. We love goofing around and having fun at play. We make time for that every single day. So it's not hard to see, but maybe you've guessed, my dog is not just my friend, he is the best. At this time, I'm going to invite Jerry up to share some memories with us.
That's Finnegan, right? Excuse me. For the record, I just want everybody to know, my name is Jerry Finnegan, and I've been asked to deliver this message on behalf of the Friars girls. I do need to explain to everybody. Vince, you can hear me in the back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. I met Sue in 1981 at Boblo Island. I was running security there, and Sue was working as a ticket taker on the Amherstburg dock. She would have been about 17 or 18 years old at the time, and part of her job was to relieve the security officer once the patrons started coming with the tickets. We explained to Sue that all the employees had to have their badge visible when they came on the boat, when they were coming to the island, when they passed Sue. And then I had to have discussions with Sue about why that was important. She really didn't understand why. She said, I know everybody. Why do I have to make sure they got a badge? I know them. Well, you're not the only one that's concerned here, Sue. Needless to say, down the road I had a meeting with my boss, Jim Myers, the park director, and Sue's boss, her manager, Dorcas Turner. They met with me and tried to explain to me that Sue knew what she was doing and for me not to worry about it. Just let her be Sue. Okay, needless to say, security was kind of a foreign concept on the island back in 1981. Years later, Sue became friends with a couple of the members of the Friars family and was around enough that Florence Friars, who was the queen mother, of course, for us, thought she might as well adopt her, and she became a bonus sister to Gail, Rosemary, Valerie, and Susie, and would forever be included in the group we lovingly refer to as the Twisted Sisters. There were many times over the years that these special sisters would gather together, whether it was for a rib fest at the Minney home in McGregor, the Sisters' Christmas held for many years at Valerie and Bill's home over in Belleville, Michigan, or camping out at Jellystone in Amherstburg, which eventually became a bit of a problem. After a long day of camping, the sisters would decide to go for an evening walk around the park, and with cocktails, of course, which was against the park rules. But on many occasions, Sue would fall behind the group, mainly because they noticed she would take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps backwards. Then the girls would hear Sue saying, "Come on guys, wait for me." Sue was not the tallest of the 5 sisters, but I'm of the opinion that alcohol played a major factor with this story, as it did with most of the stories involving the group. James, we talked about that earlier. Sue, of course, was very well known for her incredible shopping ability. The lady knew a deal when she saw one. It really didn't matter who Sue was with while shopping. She would find the perfect purchase for whoever she was with and placed it in her shopping carts, whether they were aware of it or not. She was always able to help pick out stuff for you, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your pets. Really didn't matter who was with Sue, she loved to shop. And I honestly believe a cart half full to Sue meant you just weren't trying hard enough. With the career path that Sue chose and her absolute love of animals, she was always everyone's go-to person when it came to issues with the pets. Over the years, the veterinarians and animal hospitals she worked at, she would meet many people from Windsor and Essex County, and in some cases, it would become an obsession. Like with Dave and Chuck the Freak from the radio station 88.7, New Rock wasn't Sue's music of choice by any means, but Dave and Chuck the Freak had to be listened to whenever possible. Over the past 15 years or so, every one of the guys lucky enough to be married to one of these sisters has been dragged into a situation whether they liked it or not, and James Minney is no exception. The story goes on about a party of some sort that was at Sue's house, and somehow a large bag of women's shoes from Susie and Tony's yard sale ended up in James's garage with the sisters. Long story short, the sisters convinced James that with his large assortment of tools, that modifying the toes and the heels of all these shoes was a good idea. Then the girls, of course, had to show off these new redesigned footwear at the McGregor Tavern in wonderful downtown McGregor. You had to know alcohol was involved with that. Poor James. Sorry, man. In closing, I'd just like to say, Sue Minney was an incredible lady, friend, and sister who will be truly missed by all who knew and loved her. Sue, you'll be forever in our thoughts and prayers, your sisters and their families. Thank you.
And we're just going to invite Jackie up here to share some things with us. Thank you.
Hi folks. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm James' sister, Jackie. And just to share a few thoughts about Sue. When I think of Sue, one of the first words that pops into my head is fierce, all right? Sue stood up for herself and all those she loved. She was a fierce mama bear, and you know what they say, don't poke the bear. Sue was fierce right to the end. One day recently in the hospital, she was being wheeled back to her room after a treatment, and the staff managed to bang a gurney into a wall. Sue, being Sue, said, "I'm going to kick your effing ass." Although, of course, Sue didn't say effing. Sue was a straight talker who spoke her mind. I think this is one of the reasons she was so well liked. You always knew where you stood with her or how she felt about things. She really had a knack for connecting with people. You just have to read some of the hundreds of responses on the Facebook page for South Windsor Animal Hospital, where she worked, to see how she touched so many lives. Another word that comes to mind about Sue is passionate. Sue loved her family, her friends, and all her fur babies passionately. I remember when Sue and James were first together. They hadn't been together all that long when they had to deal with the tragedy of their house burning down. On top of losing everything they had to deal with living in very close quarters in their camping trailer for 6 months while their house was being rebuilt in the winter with a teenage daughter and 2 big dogs. I remember thinking at that time that if their relationship could survive all that, they were golden. Sue loved all of her family passionately. As James has said, she had an excessively big heart. Her mom, Blue, lived with them for many years, and Sue cared for her through her final illness. Who knows, maybe now they'll play some bingo again. She loved all their kids, but it was the grandchildren that really stole her heart. She loved being a grandma. Sue was probably most passionate about caring for animals. I used to think how wonderful for her to be able to work in a field that she felt so passionate about, but it was a double-edged sword. She couldn't bear to see an animal put down due to an injury if there was a way to rehabilitate it. This is how she ended up with a number of her pets. Sue ended up adopting numerous dogs that have been abandoned or given up due to serious medical issues. These animals won the lottery when they crossed Sue's path. Most of you probably know she loved her Rotties. Her first, Thunder, that's his chain over here, he came to her as a 4-day-old orphan pup. Sue bottle raised with either a syringe or a small bottle, Thunder and a litter mate with a syringe, getting up at all hours to feed and tend to the newborns. Both pups thrived, and she found a home for the second one. She was the go-to person, as Jerry said, for many of us with our pets. Whenever I had a crisis with one of my pets, she would follow up repeatedly to see how things were going and to help out any way she could. She would have saved every animal if she could. One other thing about Sue, and maybe you didn't know this, Sue loved to have a good time. Sue loved to party, and she was a lot of fun to be around. I probably speak for many of us here when I say we had a lot of good times together. She loved to travel, especially going on cruises, but she really loved spending time at the cottage. It was her happy place. Whether it was her and James having a quiet weekend fishing and relaxing, having all her kids and grandkids up there for a weekend every summer, which was usually followed by one of the Twisted Sister weekends. Gail and her crew. Sue is leaving a big hole in all our hearts. I'd like to close with this wish for all of us. May time ease the pain of this loss and make room for happy memories of Sue to shine.
Thank you. I know that's extremely difficult to do. Often I'm called to speak at family funerals because they think I'm a funeral director and I can handle it, but it's not easy to do. So I actually really appreciate that. I know James and the family does as well. Is there anybody though that would like to, if they had another little story to share, if they want, and you can stand from where you are, or you can come up to the microphone so we can get it on camera. But if there's anyone that would like to share like a funny story about Sue, we welcome that. And I understand, like it's not easy to do when someone asks you to come up and share, especially under circumstances. This was a very quick thing for the family to bear, as you all are aware. But at this time, and I'd hate to do this to you, but this is a song I'd like to play for you. And it's called Jealous of the Angels.
Didn't know today would be our last, that I'd have to say goodbye to you so fast. I'm so numb I can't feel anymore. I'm praying you just walk back through that door and tell me that I was only dreaming. always made my troubles feel so small, and you were always there to catch me when I'd fall. In a world where heroes come and go, well, God just took the only one I know. So I'll hold you as close as I can, longing for the day when I see your face again. But until then, God must need another angel around the throne tonight. Your love lives on inside of me, and I will hold on tight. It's not my place to question, only God knows why. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight, singing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm just jealous of the angels around the throne tonight.
This is a prayer that you often hear at funerals. I'd like to share it with you here today. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Each morning, when we awake, we know that you are gone, and no one knows the heartache as we try to carry on. Our hearts still ache with sadness, and many tears still flow. What it meant to lose you, no one will ever know. Our thoughts are always with you. Your place no one can fill. In life, we loved you dearly. In death, we love you still. There will always be a heartache and often a silent tear, but always a precious memory of the days when you were here. If tears could make a staircase and heartaches make a lane, we'd walk the path to heaven and bring you home again. We hold you close within our hearts, and there you will remain, to walk with us throughout our lives until we meet again. Our family chain is broken now, and nothing will be the same. But God calls us one by one, and that chain will link again. This is something that you often hear at weddings, and it speaks a lot about love. So I wanted to share this with you today. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but it rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. And this is a good old Irish blessing. I think it's appropriate for someone who likes a good time. I'm not sure if she's Irish, but it's a good Irish blessing. It says this: Sue. Sue, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warmly upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. And at this time, I'm going to have Connor play our final song. this does conclude the life celebration here this evening. Often though, at the end of a funeral, sometimes, the phone calls slowly fade away. What I encourage you all to do, and those that will be watching this online, to pick up the phone and reach out to the family and to James. During this pandemic, it's more necessary, I think, because people are shut in and they can't go too far. So again, I really appreciate that those people continue to reach out to the family and check up on them. Perhaps have a Michelob Ultra if you like that beer. And maybe have a nice toast for her. I'd actually allow you to do it here tonight because I would have got a liquor permit. And but we can't do it because we can't serve food or drink in here. But please, maybe at some point, have a nice little toast for Sue. And I think we should offer her a round of applause for her life.